Welcome to class. Let's go ahead and find any comfortable seated position. You can prop up the hips. Take the first few moments here to settle into the physical body. You can work with the mudra. You can have the first finger and thumb together with the palms up. Take a few moments, settle into your spine and your hips, and start letting go of any unnecessary tension in the body, around the eyes, the jaw, and the shoulders. Those first, more conscious, full breaths in, allowing the breath to come in. Your rib cage, navel soften here. So it's like you're allowing your fullest, but still your most comfortable breath to come in. Start to notice as you bring more attention to the breath and any sensations in your body. Feel a shift in the nervous system, condition of your mind. Feel that the physical body is more relaxed, more at ease. Stay attentive to the breath and those sensations. Let's start bringing some attention now to our intention for class. This could be something you'd like to manifest in terms of your health or well-being. It could be a spiritual aspiration you have within your own heart. That intention. Take the next 3 breaths with awareness at the heart center, right behind the sternum. Bring the palms together in front of the heart center. We ask and trust that our practice today supports this intention and moves it towards. We'll chant Hari Om 3 times together to open up the practice. Inhale. Slowly open the eyes, and let's get you started in downward facing dog today. Take any props off to the side. And take a few moments, just kind of get into that shape, start doing some movement here, maybe in the hips or legs. Start freeing up the back line of the body. Start to regulate your breath so you're getting in about a 5-second breath in and 5-second breath out. Come forward and do a 1-minute plank pose today. You can bring the knees down at any point. Strong here in the rib cage, navel, upper back. Make sure you're rooting through all the fingertips. Remember, if there's any wrist issues, you can always do this on the forearms. Check in with your breathing pattern. Starting to lose any of that lift in that lower rib cage area. Bring the knees down and readjust. Let's take 15 more seconds here. Let's bring the knees down. Bring the knees and feet close together. We're going to sit back on the heels in Vajrasana. So make any adjustments, use props if you need to make this available to you. Reduce the wrist opening, interlock the fingers, forearms close together, figure 8 with the hands. Reverse that direction. And then we'll bring the palms down, get your knees and your feet hip width distance apart. Curl the toes under now. Get the wrists a couple of inches in front of your shoulders, but keep them shoulder width distance so that when you bring the shoulders over the wrists, you're in a modified plank pose. Take a full breath in here, and then slowly as you exhale, start to move the hip back toward the wall behind you. And you're going to start to feel that internal rotation of that upper leg bone in the hip. You're just going to start to feel what that stretch is like in the hip. And for some of us, you're going to start to feel that in maybe the lower back, sacral area. We're going to do this really movement. So you're inhaling and coming forward, shoulders over the wrist. And as you exhale, you're slowly taking the hip back. Deep muscles in the hips. At your own pace. You might move a little faster or slower than me. Inhale, one more exhale. Then we're going to hold that shape on the exhale. So we take. You shouldn't feel like you're really forcing the hips back. Paying more attention to the sensation in the hip and how the upper leg bone just naturally moves into more of an internal rotation when we bring flexion into the hip. The next breath in, we come forward. Tops of the feet to the floor, big toes touch for child's pose. Now we take the hips back. Relax the neck muscles here. Feel the rib cage expanding out in all directions as you breathe in. And then we're going to lift the heart and head up. Get the shoulders directly over the wrist, knees directly underneath the hips here. We're going to do one more really specific exercise here for the hip. You're going to extend your right leg back. Should have the tip of the big toe and see if you can get that metatarsal of the ball mount of the big toe in contact with the floor. I mean, if you have any issues, passage or something with foot, that might not happen, that's okay. Just kind of do a gentle press through the heel as much as you can. We've got this right knee underneath the right hip, and we want to make sure we're not moving the hip off to the side. So we're keeping this left leg pretty strong. Sweep your left foot underneath, sweep your right foot underneath your left leg. So it's going to go more to now an external rotation with that upper leg bone. So you've got that movement, and then you're going to come back to neutral. If you need extra cushion under your knee or double up mat, go ahead and set yourself up. You might find that you're not going as far as you think you might, right? And notice if you're dropping your left hip or shifting your right hip off to the side, you're going too far with this movement. You want the repetition of the movement to start bringing up that hip joint. this side. And then we're going to switch the legs. Left knee underneath left hip. Extend right leg back. Press through the heel. Stack yourself up, shoulders over wrists. And then we sweep that left foot underneath the right calf, or underneath the right leg. You may correlate the breath with this one if you want. Usually I'll come into an exhale when I take the knee into, or the leg into more external rotation when I sweep the foot underneath. I inhale when I bring it back. It also helps me slow the movement down a little bit. Be more mindful of some of these deeper muscles that we're working with in the hip. Last one on the side. Alright, let's come back to center. Both knees close toward each other. Wrists under the shoulders. Make sure you got those fingers spreading wide. And we're going to take the right leg back and up. Keep that right knee bent. Keep hips pretty even here at this point. And then we're going to take that knee off to the side. And when we bring it down in center, we bring it slightly forward. Let's get in these hip cars. Slow, pretty manageable movement here. One, you may not correlate the breath with the movement, but you want to make sure you're not holding the breath in or out. Reverse the direction of the rotation. Stay on the same leg. Last one on this side. When the knees come close together, minor shifts. Make sure you're still rooting through all the fingertips. You take the left leg up, off to the side, and center. And reverse the direction. Stay connected with the breath and the movement. Last round there. Once both knees are down, wrists go a little wider than the mat. Point the fingers in the opposite direction. Shift the hip off to the right. Left knee might lift up a little bit if it's comfortable for you. And come back to center on your inhale. Exhale off to the left. Remember, hips almost touching the floor. And back to center. Go back and forth with this one at your own pace. Come back to center from here. With the knees more hip width apart, curl the toes under. We're going to push back, lift the knees up, come all the way back onto the heels. Once the heels are down, come up halfway to lengthen the torso. Go back as much as you need to get that bind. Padahastasana. Once you have that bind, you'll only straighten the back line. Relax the neck muscles. Head's heavy, get that traction for the spine. And release the bind. Strong back, belly, and legs. Come all the way up as you inhale. So the arms to the side. You might keep the gaze downward. Touch palms overhead. Side the body. Take a couple breaths here. Make sure we're not locking the knees out. Get rooted through those 3 points of the sole of the foot, ball mount of big toe, ball mount of pinky toe, and the center of your heel. And we'll cross the right leg in front of the left, line the big toes up if possible, as best as you can. That right hip go at a slight angle, but keep shoulders squared off toward the front. And sweep that right arm forward, up slightly back. You have the left hand on the right rib cage as you take a lean toward your left. Some engagement in the legs to maintain your balance. A little swaying on the soles of the feet is normal here. And we want to feel like we're lifting and lengthening that right rib cage front, back, and side away from the hip. Engage these side muscles to inhale and come up and out. Change the legs. Shoulders squared off, left arm up, back, lean to the right. Check in with your breathing pattern. Connect with that expansive quality of the inhalation, moving through the left sideline and hip. On the next inhale, we'll come back to center and then unravel the legs. Keep the feet pretty close together, all the toes pointing straight ahead for Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink your hips, sweep the arms both forward, up, and slightly back. Hold the shape here, relax tops of the shoulders away from the ears. Keep lower belly firm, lift to the heart. One more full breath. On the next inhale, straighten the legs, lean back a little bit, engage your glutes, take a forward fold exhale, fingertips to the floor. Start to walk the hands forward, keep the legs close together. Once you're into the top of a push-up with the legs close together, we've got side plank. Support on the right side, either right forearm or right palm. You can also take modifications here, such as bringing the right knee down underneath the hip. Otherwise, the legs are stacked over each other. Check in with your breathing pattern. And move through plank pose to change sides. Left arm supports. Free breathing. Back through plank pose. Feet hip width distance apart, lower all the way to the floor on the next exhale. Lift the chest up, lengthen the navel, bring the flat of the belly onto the floor. And then have arms alongside the body, a slight angle with palms down. Keep palms touching the floor. Keep chest lifting, engage glutes, so lift feet up away from the feeling the front of the shoulders away from each other. Lower down, arms or palms flipped up, left ear to floor. Relax everything into the floor for a couple of breaths. On the next inhale, lift heart and head up. Turn your head to the other side and lower down. Relax arms, legs, hips, shoulders, and neck. Inhale, lift heart and head up. Chin back to center, hands under shoulders, chest, and push up and back into downward facing dog. And on the next exhale, left foot goes forward in between the wrists. Once you have this runner's lunge, you might choose to take the right foot forward maybe a half an inch for a high lunge. This might help with balance. If you get a position where the back knee is bent slightly, you can really sink into the hip. Once you find your balance here, take arms to a T formation and wrap fingers around your thumbs in Musthi Mudra. Soft gaze at one point, 5 longitudinal lunges, straightening the front leg as you're breathing in, and sinking the hip while keeping the lift to the chest as you exhale. Between those two postures at your own pace. Inhaling up, exhaling down. 5 full rounds. To the 5th round, you're going to have that front leg straight, then press through right heel, won't touch the floor. You're going to resist right hip forward, palms face forward, keep arms T formation, hinge at the left hip here, and keep the spine nice and long. And you can come down up to the point of being parallel to the floor, not past, or toward parallel to the floor. Hold that shape here. A little more of a challenge. You can take the palms facing each other and arms sweep forward. Then bend left knee, keep back leg strong, arms up, lengthen torso, and twist to the left. Right arm braces against the thigh, press palms together, stack the elbows. As you inhale, come out of the twist, fingertips to floor. We're going to have this back knee down, so you might want to double up the mat or use a cushion. And then from there, bring torso up. So now we're in a low lunge. And once you're here, you can either keep the low lunge settling the hips as evenly as you can. You can either take right arm up to gain a little more length in that front line. Otherwise, you reach back and bind right hand to right foot. Left arm can extend out, rest on the knee, first finger and thumb together. You might take the inside of the foot, heel toward hip, maybe stacking elbow over wrist. Release that bind, careful with the back knee. Hip fingertips to the floor for half Hanuman pose. Stack right hip over right knee. Front leg straightens out. You might want to take the left hip forward. You might want to bend the left knee a little bit. Settle into this shape where you got the crease of the left hip and front right hip point pretty even with each other. And get the support of the arms. Body weight feels support up through the shoulder girdles. You forward fold over the front leg. Last one here in this sequence. Come back into a low lunge. Now you might find that the angle with the back leg is a little bit wider. So you have two options here. Right palm supports. Left hand either on thigh. Twist toward the left. Or keeping the right arm supportive, you're going to bend the right knee and reach for the inside of right foot with left hand. Now if you lose the lunge or the twist by reaching back for the bind, once you do have the bind, see if you can regain both of those again. Say root through ball mound of the left big toe, twist from the waist. palms down, left foot back. You can go directly into down dog or take a vinyasa on the belly. And be back in downward facing dog. And on the next exhale, right foot's going to come forward. Start that same sequence on the second side. Set up for a high lunge first. Arms T formation, Mushti Mudra. Once you find your balance, and take 5 longitudinal lunges here. That weight settled into the hips. Try not to put too much forward pressure in the knee. You do 5 full lunges. After that 5th lunge, we're keeping that right leg straight without locking the knee out. You press left heel back, resist left hip forward. Palms face forward. Hinge at the hip. Feel like there's a strap drawing you back by the crease of your hip. Keep the neck neutral. Once you have the boundary there in the lower half of the body, if you'd like to sweep the arms forward, a little more of a challenge there in the spine. If you start rounding the upper back, feel strain or pinching in the shoulders, take arms back to a T formation. Torso up, arms up, bend right knee, keep back leg strong. Vritti Parshvakonasana, second side here. Check in with your breathing pattern. As you inhale, come out of the twist, back knee down, make sure your knee's comfortable. Now we're going to be here for a little while. And then from here, torso comes up. Now you're in a low lunge. And we take either arm up on the left side or binding left hand to left foot. The outside, the inside. Or we get that rotation here in the shoulder and elbow goes over wrist. Bind. Half on the mountain pose next. Back hip over back knee. Make those minor adjustments. We feel pretty even in the hips. Spine stays in line with the inside of the leg. Even though we'll bring some flexion into the spine here. So we want to feel like we're lengthening as we lower the heart and belly toward the floor. So you might want to check in with your right foot. Sometimes you want to push onto the outer edge of the foot. As we let the toes splay out. Make those adjustments here in the upper leg bone. Kind of start to feel more like the sole of the foot is on the floor, even though it's not touching the floor. Go into that revolving low lunge next. So we've got this shape here. It's option 1. Left arm supports, right arm supports the twist with hand on thigh, or reach back for the bind. release on the inhale. And your choice, either downward facing dog directly or vinyasa on the belly. And after meeting up here in downward facing dog, we'll bring the knees down, close together. We'll take the feet wider than the hips for Virasana. Remember, if the hips aren't supported by the floor, in between the feet, use block bolster, combination of parts. And once you get the lower half of the body established, we're going to bring fingers in front of the shoulders, thumbs behind, and do big circles with the elbows. So we get good range of motion here in the shoulder joint. And reverse the direction. Hands rest on the thighs. Take a couple resting breaths here. See if there's any unnecessary tension within the hip structure or shoulders that you can soften while keeping an upright, lengthened position for the spine. Forward to getting props off to the side. Get forearms to the floor next for a low plank. Interlocking fingers, elbows shoulder width distance, shoulders over elbows. Then we walk the feet back. Once the legs are straight and you've got that strong feeling there in the rib cage, if at any point you want to bring the knees down, you can. Otherwise, keep the legs charged up. More seconds. Then bring the knees down, take hips back, lift forearms up, chest toward floor, relax neck muscles. Take a few breaths here, dolphin prep. Head up, bring forearms back down. If you prefer to move toward a wall for headstand, or if you're practicing a headstand prep, please feel free to move off the mat. Now practicing a full inversion today, you might take dolphin pose with the hips up, forearms on the floor. You can also take a one-legged version like so if you're doing some mat work for prep of a headstand. If you're up and staying up, anywhere between 7 to 10 full breaths. Take your time. Make sure that upper back feels nice and strong. You've got that rooted feeling through your forearms. child's pose. If you're feeling like you're able to sit in an upright seated position, go ahead and adjust and take a few moments. Concentrate on your breath. Any subtle sensations in the body from the crown of the head, down the spine, into the base of your pelvis. Here, we back up on the mat and we'll take downward facing dog. Once you get into downward facing dog, we'll get the left knee forward behind the wrist for a one-legged pigeon pose. Settling into the hips. And then once you feel like you have a pretty even position here for the hips, we'll take forearms down. Settle into the hip structure, let go of any unnecessary tension in the back right thigh. Neck is neutral or relaxed. Just take 2 more breaths here. If there's any space, you can continue to create in the hip structure. Keep the left leg as is. Bring torso up. Support on palms or fingertips. And then this next option would be to reach back for the right foot with the right hand, similar to what we did with the low lunge. You can reach to the outside, the inside. Start to bring the heel in toward the outer edge of the hip. Getting that rotation in, elbow over the shoulder, or up. Elbow over the wrist. That lift to the heart, rib cage. Release the bind. Downward facing dog for one full resting breath. Even hips, even shoulders. And on the next exhale, right leg comes forward. Remember, once the hips get settled in, we're going to take the forward fold first. Let go of any unnecessary tension in the lower half of the body. And relax your navel. Same variation, practice this second variation, right? Option that you practiced. Hands on the floor, fingertips on the floor, reaching back for the left foot with the left hand. Do your best to do on this side. So whatever you did on the last side, do your best to do on this side. That bind. Downward facing dog follows. Strong navel, left leg goes forward into a runner's lunge. Bring left arm to the inside of your left leg. Walk the hands off toward the right. Let your left toes go at a slight angle. Bring your right heel down. Facing the long edge of the mat now. Keep that left heel rooted. Turn your right leg bone into external rotation, which means The toe is going to lift up and you're going to point the foot or the toes up toward the sky as much as you can. Now you can use blocks underneath your hands here. Once you have that external rotation with the thigh, you might bring palms down to the floor, sink the hip a little bit closer to the floor. Hold the shape, no struggle, no strain. There should be no tugging to the inside of this knee here. If that's happening, then you need to come out a little bit, maybe bend the right knee a little bit. So make some adjustments here so that no tugging in the inside or closer to the joint. But we're starting to get access more to what's going on here in the belly of the muscles. And we're going to lift the body weight out of the hips, then get that leg bone more neutral. Go back into facing the left leg into a runner's lunge. And then get left foot back into downward facing dog. I'm going to switch sides. Right foot comes forward next. Right arm to the inside of the leg. Start walking the hands off to the left. Right toes are at a slight angle. Once you get the right foot in place, then externally rotate the left leg bone. Find a position that works for you. There's no strain. Conscious breathing. Lift the body weight out of the hips first, and then slowly move your way back into a runner's lunge facing the right leg. Downward facing dog. And then walking the hands back toward the feet till the heels reach the floor. Once they're there, come up halfway, lengthen. Deepen the forward fold, exhale. And all the way up as you breathe in. Breaths here. And you may need to move more toward the middle of the mat for Warrior 3. And shift the body weight into the left hip. Take arms up alongside ears here. And then hinge the left hip. Up. You can bring that right foot down if you want to move with me into Ekapada Galavasana. Take the right ankle on top of the left thigh just above the knee. Hinge at the hip here. Forward fold over leg. Hands to floor or use a block. Left arm is right to the inside of the crook of that right foot. Shin tucks up into the upper right arm. Bring body weight into that upper arm. Shift body weight. Find your stability here for taking that left foot up, heel toward hip. And then extending the leg back if you choose. Left foot coming down. And torso coming up. And right foot down. Take a breather. Make sure heart and breath feel regulated before going off into that second side. Shifting body weight into right hip, arms up. Virabhadrasana 3. Back to vertical, torso. Left ankle on top of right thigh. Sink the hip. Keep the lift to the chest. Arms to the front of the shin. Take your time. And that crook of the foot as high as you can onto that upper arm. Hook that foot. Stay right here if you like. Back to vertical. Left foot down. Free breathing. Back toward the back edge of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Forward fold, hinge at the hip. Walk hands forward. Lower all the way to the floor from plank. Lift the chest up. Lengthen the navel, bring flat of the belly down. Cross the wrists. Place chin on cross wrists. Big toes touch. Heels fall away from each other. Take a few resting breaths in Nakrasana. The legs feel heavy. Lift the heart and head up. Take the knees and feet a little wider than the hips. Bend the knees. Sweep feet from side to side. And bring tops of the feet down about mat width distance apart. Elbows under shoulders, forearms and wrists shoulder width distance apart. Take a few breaths here in Sphinx pose. Feel like you need to go into a deep back bend here. Just finding some extension with the spine. Chest down, let elbows splay out. Left arm underneath the right. Roll onto the back and scoot back onto the mat. And once you get on the mat, back on the mat, bring soles of the feet together, knees splayed away from each other for Supta Baddha Konasana. Settle into lower back and hips. Once the lower half of the body is established, you can have arms alongside the body, palms up, or you can grab opposite elbows above your head. Follow the breath into the body. And take that one exercise that you've done with me in the past. So once you're in this shape, you become more aware of the breath when you use this as a tool. So on the inhale, we're going to feel like the breath comes in and fills the shape, filling the space. Use our imagination as we follow the breath in. that expansive quality of the inhalation. And then on our exhale, we're going to feel the weight of our physical bodies. We become aware of the weight of our physical body. We want to let all the muscles and the bones give in to gravity on the exhale. On the inhale, fill the space. Create space on the exhale, fill the space on the inhale. And do this for about another full minute here. About 15 more seconds. Arms back next to the rib cage. Slow. And then legs hip width distance apart. Bend knees, heels close to the hips without touching. And feet about hip width distance apart for an easy bridge. Root through the feet, engage the glutes and back. And strong upper back and shoulders. We'll take a few breaths here in bridge pose. Take a few moments to assess your physical body. If there's any movement that you feel would bring further compensation into your body, please take a moment to do that for yourself. And we'll all meet up in corpse pose. Point. If you set yourself up in any way for corpse pose, another layer of clothes to maintain body temperature. Something under the knees or over the eyes. Take your time to set yourself up. Start to settle in. Bring your attention inward, focusing on the sound or the feeling of the breath or any sensations within your own body. And all the muscles and the bones give in to gravity. Stay receptive to all that's within your highest good in regards to healing and resolution. attention back to the space around you. So take some deeper breaths in and create some movement in your physical body. Take your time as you eventually find your way back up to a comfortable seated position. You may want your hips a little higher than your knees. Take a few moments to settle in. Whatever mudra you'd like to work with, so do some breath work and concentration. Settle into that. Start to focus on the physical sensation of the breath moving through the nose and your throat. Just to have a physical awareness, concentration point, something more tangible to draw the mind back to. Mind wanders excessively. Start to pay attention to 2 points. As you follow the breath in through the nose, focus on the center of the brain. As you follow the breath out through the nostrils, bring your attention to the space below the nostrils, about the height of your collarbones. First, establish that pathway within the mind between those 2 points, observing the sensations along the way. Short 1 to 2 second pause at the end of inhale and at the end of your exhale. Holding your attention the center of the brain during that short internal breath retention, and holding your attention at that space in front of the collarbones during the short external breath retention. Carve out that pathway as we alternate the nostrils. With our awareness, focusing on the left nostril as we're breathing in, center of the brain, taking that short pause still. Shifting the attention to the right nostril as we exhale, we take our attention to that space below the nostrils, still adding that short external breath retention. Keeping the attention on the right side as you follow the breath in, center of brain, short pause, and then back to the left nostril for the exhale and attention, finishing at the space below the nostrils, that short external breath retention. That's 1 round. Establish that pathway within your mind, left, right, right, left. Pausing for a moment, the internal breath retention, the center of the brain, and the external breath retention below the nostrils in front of the collarbones. ratio to their breathing. 6-second inhale, 6-second exhale, and anywhere between a 2 to 6-second breath retention. Do you have a count for the breath retention that's comfortable and sustainable? Stay consistent with that count, and then continue to practice the next 5 minutes. finish up the last round. Your awareness moves through the left nostril on the exhale, and your attention finishes there below the nostrils, the height of your collarbones. Once you get there, resume a natural breathing pattern, keeping your attention hovering there at that space. And then establish another pathway within the mind. So we take our next breath in and we take the attention from the space below the nostrils, through the nostrils, past the center of the brain now, down the midline of the body, to a space deep in the center of your body behind the belly button. As you exhale, you take your attention and reverse back up the midline, past the center of the brain again, out through the nostrils to where we started, the space in front of the collarbones. And that's one round. Continue to go back and forth between those 2 points, following that pathway and observing the sensations along the way. And although we're not practicing a breath retention specifically, you might find that there is a spontaneous suspension of the breath as you get to the end of either of those 2 points. And if this occurs naturally, you can allow it to, when the mind comes back to the awareness of the breath retention, simply draw the attention back through that pathway as you're breathing in and out. Perhaps colors or images may appear. We observe without attachment, without expectation. We're suppressing nothing, acknowledging anything that might arise. Next time, you find your attention there at the pit of the navel. Resume a natural breath. Let your attention drift there for a moment. Slowly take our attention from that space out toward the periphery of the body. As you take your attention to the body, consider the front, back, and sides. Move through the abdominal area. Consider all of the organs, digestive tract, the liver, spleen. Towards the back of the body, the kidneys, the adrenal glands. Breathe freely. Slowly allow the attention to drift down toward the pelvis and up toward the chest cavity. The reproductive organs, heart, the lungs. Not only about every cell of every tissue, but even the space between the cells. Infused with this vital life force. Take attention to the shoulders, through the hips and into the legs and arms. The space between the joints, all the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the to the throat, toward the wrists and the ankles, and into the skull, brain, the eyes, the ears, all the way to the palms, soles of the feet, toes, fingers, into the crown of the head. Pay attention to the whole body, the spine, all the muscles, the skin. Now the next breath in, we take our attention just beyond the physical body. Next exhale, we draw our attention back to the spine and hips, noticing our body weight supported. Moving the palms together in front of the heart center, take a moment for reflection and gratitude. Anything that moves through our hearts and our minds, we'd like to acknowledge and give thanks for. We'll seal the practice by chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all beings, without one exception, know peace and be released from suffering. So it is, and so it shall be. Slowly open the eyes. Take your time getting up. Thanks for joining me for the live class. If you're watching the recording and you have any questions ever, you can always email us at info@tejasyogachicago.com. We love having you practice out there with us. So be well, and I will